got the turd out of the building. We're gonna put her out here on Skid Row for a second so we can get the motor out of the other truck. I'm gonna say that she fits like a glove. What y'all think? Still looks like a turd, but at least we can pressure wash it like this. Like, we can get up under there. It's good. Oh yeah. Might be able to get some of that oil off. Try to get some of that oil cleaned off and get it going. Get it painted up, maybe paint the engine bay up a little bit, put the motor back in. Alright, well, let's unload this turd out here in the weeds, and then we're going to drag the other one up out of the weeds so we can get it in the shop and take the motor out of it. How about that? We interrupt your normal scheduled programming to ask you guys to please like, subscribe, and comment. They say all that stuff helps fat guy out, and we need all the help we can get because we're not real good at this. So let's get to it. Thank y'all. All right, I'm back. I got the donor truck in the building. I didn't video the whole getting it out of the weeds part because it was kind of aggravating. I'm not even gonna lie. And then it really sucked to get it in the building. It didn't want to roll real good. We got broke tie rods and stuff. It was wrecked when I bought it. And the guy that I bought it from bought it because he needed the front end parts and stuff off of it, which is good because now it's already halfway disassembled, so I ain't got to take as much stuff apart. But it was a really low mileage truck, so, and I wanted the motor and trans out of it because it didn't have that many miles on it. So we're going to get to it. We're going to yank the motor and trans out, and then we'll get this turd back outside. Then we're going to get the old 6-door turd, and we're going to hit it with the hot seat, give it a good steam clean, try to get it cleaned up a little bit and prep it and get ready to put the motor back in. All right, we're going to start disassembling. Most of these hoses and stuff we're just going to cut because we're not going to use them anyway. Just to get it out of the way. I had looped a bunch of it together back in the day just so I could make sure it ran when I bought it. Yep, that's gonna make this. Put this in the scrap. Our scrap pile is constantly growing out here. Oh, no. Trans lines next. We're gonna butcher them off because we'll put new lines on that. Won't use much of this stuff. No. Oh yeah, we are messing up the world now. You're oozing junk all over the floor. If there's one thing I'm good at, that's making a mess. I can turn anything into a mess. It is convenient though. You're like half this thing is already took apart. You can't beat that with a crayon. Minus the fact I'm pretty sure I left my motor plate at work. All right, now we got to figure out about that ground wire right there. I've already undone most of the wires for the most part. So I gotta get underneath it and see about the wires underneath it, and then we should be able to get the engine harness off. Stick that up there. That. Ground wire up there, save those for later. Alright, I guess now we need to find the old creeper and get underneath this thing. See what we can do. Alright guys, I'm back. I got all the stuff underneath done. There wasn't very much under there. The dry shaft, the transmission plug, a couple other 2-sensor wires, and the shift linkage. So I didn't really video that, but we're going to get the intake off, see if we can't get the motor plate on. I don't know if I might have the motor plate here. It might be at work, but we're going to get it blowed off. Oh, by the way, check out these sweet safety glasses. If you don't have vintage style safety glasses in your hot rod shop, do you have a hot rod shop? Check these things out. You can find anything on the Amazon. That was probably a little loud, sorry. All right, let's take the intake off. I love an electric ratchet, but kids today will never understand what it was like taking stuff apart without an electric ratchet, because everybody's got one of these things now. When I was a kid, we had to take everything apart with hands and wrenches. They didn't even have ratchet wrenches. All right, I'm gonna have to find the light. Can't see what's going on. It's dark in there. Those back ones can be a little bit of a pain, but it ain't too bad. I've worked on way more aggravating stuff in my day. All right, see? Look at that. And since we don't have this whole front end on there, man, it's got somewhere to stand. The return of the vintage safety glasses. Love these things. All right, that was loud. Now we'll get up in there, take a couple more wires, then the whole wiring harness should come out. Can't see nothing. It's dark. There we go. Ooh, check this out, guys. It's a snake skin. He's probably been living in there for a while. I've literally owned this thing for 9-10 years. I bought this thing 19 years ago. That's how long the LS Swap has been waiting for the Turrd. He's probably been living his best life for a while. I am going to have to get back under the truck. I forgot about the wiring harness for the starter. I got to take the wires off the starter. And the crank sensor. That's okay. We'll get it. Alright, well, we got more wires hung up on something. So I'm going to have to get under there, check and see what those wires is hung up on, and get under there and unhook the starter wires. I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, I'm back. Got the starter off, and I got the wire unhung from whatever it was wrapped around holding up the situation. So now we're going to see if we can't finish getting these wires out from under this truck. Get this whole wiring harness off. Kind of need this. All right. More of the little guy. All right. And here is a complete unchopped up, unstripped wiring harness out of a Gen 4 6-liter. Y'all will get to see me strip this thing down and turn it into a standalone. That way it fits exactly where we want it. I like making my own wiring harness because, one, I know exactly how it works and where everything's at when I need to work on it again one day. And two, back when I first started doing this, the standalone harnesses used to be stupid expensive. Now you can buy some pretty nice ones. Like I've used some of them PSI ones and a couple other brand ones, and they make some pretty nice wiring harnesses. But whatever you do, do not, I repeat, do not buy an Amazon LS swap harness. There is wires that don't even go to things. None of the colors are the same as the factory stuff. You'll have to try to chase junk and find junk, and you'll spend more time and more money to make that thing run than if you would have just spent a little bit extra money on a really nice wiring harness. It'd be faster in the long run, I promise. Do not buy Amazon wiring harness. I put on 2 of them things, and I said I would never do another one, ever. All right. Air conditioning. Check 1, 2. I take that off to the side. And we're just going to push that off to the side. Look at that. And I am going to try. I don't know if it's going to work or not, because I have tried to do some research and try to find somebody else that's done it. And I've seen like one guy do what I want to do. So I don't know how good it's going to work, but I want to try to use the factory air conditioning bracket. I don't care if I got to whack out the side of the frame rail, box it in, and everything on my truck, but I'd like to use the factory. I'd like to keep the air compressor right there if I could, because they make a cool mount kit to put my engine driven compressor, my air compressor, back right here, and it's only like $160 for that mount kit. And all my stuff already reached, it's already made, all I gotta do is hook it all back up. But if I got to put the air conditioning compressor right there, then my air compressor ain't gonna fit there, and then I gotta buy that one that goes over here. And that one's really nice, but the really nice ones come with a really nice price tag. That thing's like $600. We're not trying to buy a $600 bracket, but we'll see. Hopefully, we can make that work. I had an old guy one time tell me a cutting torch and a welder, anything's possible. I don't think he wanted me to take it to the extreme that I took it to, but hey, he should have told me. Alright guys, I'm back. New day. We're going to finish getting this motor out today and get this turd back outside. We only need the motor out of this whole operation, motor and trans. I'm going to pull the manifolds off, plug wires off, and go ahead and get the motor mount bolts loose. Old Crazy Mike's supposed to be bringing by and bringing my motor plate because I kind of left it in town. And he said he was coming to hang out. If y'all don't know Crazy Mike, you're in for something. And that just saved me from having to go back to town to get it. So we're just gonna keep on working and get what we can get done while we're waiting on him to get here. All right, let's see. Get this dipstick out. Get these manifolds off. Got you. She was a little rusty. Or stuck. No, we're rusty. Just stuck. We don't have any broke off on this side yet. I'm sure we'll have some broke off by the time we get these off. These things are torches. But we've got pretty good getting those out of here. I don't know. See where it's going. Alright, I'm definitely going to have to get under there and cut the exhaust pipe off because it's pretty still hooked up. Alright, I'm back. I got this exhaust manifold off. After I had all the bolts out, I cut the exhaust pipe. It come right off. Imagine that. If you take the exhaust pipe loose, it'll come off a little easier. Alright, well now we're going to move to the other side. Get this side off right fast. And then all we got to do is get these little motor mount bolts out. Ain't but 3 little bolts right there. And back yonder somewhere, there's 3 little bolts on the other side. and then the cross member in the back, and this thing will be ready to come out. All right, well, I'm gonna get it fixed up and get the other side off so we can move on to getting this thing out. Spark plug wires. These things are really hard to get off without breaking. I'm getting better at it over the years, but probably gonna put some new ones on this thing because I kind of want this thing to be reliable. We're not working on this thing. That's the whole point of putting this motor in it, so we got something a little bit more reliable. And get twice as much power and twice as better fuel mileage. Old Hun did not get this fuel mileage, I promise. It didn't matter if it was driving, pushing, towing something, not towing something, drop it out of an airplane. I feel like it gets the same amount of fuel. No matter what you do. And it didn't run very fast because it was like geared 410, 411, and it had a turbo 400. Like, so I mean, like 60 mile an hour, she's screaming. But I mean, you think in 1983 there wasn't no 65, 70 mile an hour speed limit. Speed limit was 45 and 55. Nobody went anywhere. There's a lot of shows down like Georgia and Florida and stuff like that I'd like to go to, but can't go to it because Old Hun won't run 95 on 95. Let's face it, anybody knows when you get on 95, if you're not running 95, you get runned over. We might have to have something different for this side. Little wiggle wobble things. Well, somehow I managed to put my camera off in that project, but that took a minute. But finally got that stupid bolt loose. Now we can get it out. All right, finally. I think the battery might be good. Ratchet thing here. Remember yesterday when I was telling y'all guys, people were just, kids were not going to know what it was like to turn stuff with a ratchet? I don't like turning stuff with a ratchet anymore. I don't know. So that's why I like my little ratchet work. See if we can get this one. Grab this hole. Entire steering line out the way. Yeah, that might have to go out the bottom. Well, that's okay. We can shove it down out the bottom. Let me down there. Sorry about that. Knocked you guys over. Look at that. Alright, well, we got that out. Now we just got to get these little bolts out the side for the motor mounts. Alright, now that we've got all the exhaust manifolds off, that just gave us a little bit more room. And we're not going to use them on this swap anyway because they won't fit between the frame rails. So now we got to get in here and get these motor mount bolts loose and transmission cross member. And by that point, Mike should be here with the motor plate, and we should be able to yank the motor out of this thing. And then we got to get this piece of junk back out of the building. That's a whole nother undertaking on its own project because it sucked to get this thing in. The tie rod is broke, so neither one of the wheels is like, so it just don't be rolling real well. All right, I'm gonna get some tools and see if we can't get these bolts out. All right, see these bolts? I'm gonna get these 3 bolts out on each side. The only problem with this is I don't know that's gonna fit real good on the other side, but we'll figure it out. I'm gonna say them turds has probably been in there since 2011 when they built this bucket. Them things were in there. All right, got them 3 out. Going to the other side. All right, I'm back. Got us a little extension for this side. We're gonna try this. See if this helps. That one's finally done up. Alright, now we got one more over here. This one on. Let's take this extension off and see if it makes it any better. I don't know that we can get that in there without the extension, but we'll give it a try. Okay, well that one broke off. That's okay. Alright, now if we get this other one to break off, we would really be on this side. I don't know that we're getting here. Hey, that one broke off too. Look at that. All right. Well, oh, the motor mount bolts is loose. Now, all we got to do is get the motor plate and the cross member out, and this thing should be ready to come out and put on the ground. Then we got to change the manifolds. We might put headers, we might do manifolds, I'm not sure yet. We got to change the oil pan. I'll go ahead and put valve cover gaskets, front and rear main, the valley pan gasket. I'll go ahead and freshen it up with the gaskets and stuff. Give it the Kryline Kenny rebuild and paint her up real nice and put her back in. Then we'll be ready to put in another truck. Alright guys, we're back. Mike got us our engine plate. Now we can take the motor out. Alright. I guess raise it up. Squeeze the little thing. Squeeze the thing.
Right there with the dam thing.
Go down and back up. I think it's going to be too much of an angle if I put it in this one. but we might have to just to get it out of the truck. We might have to back it up some. And this whole Alright, it's better.
Alright.
But I think it's going to be too much of an angle on this.
Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, raise your back up now. As far as we can go. Right. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. That's gonna hurt your chiropractor.
It's alright. Got the VA, my man. Okay.
Yeah. Alright. Now we should be able to let down. Then we gotta move this stupid truck. And we've made a mess. Alright, we gotta clean up the mess. Move the truck. Alright, now we can get the sweet hoopty out from under the truck. But at least it's a lot straighter when I put it in here. How convenient. No. Alright, we'll put this turd on skid row. Alright guys, we're back. We're going to try to get the turd washed before we put it back in the mill. Because it's nasty. gonna get. Y'all can see. We might have to do a little wire brushing and painting to try to make it a little bit nicer. I am gonna try to fix that janky spot right there. I put that in there one time when we first put the heating and air in there. And it was kind of hard to fix with the motor in, and we were just trying to ride. So we might try to work on that and make that a little nicer. Clean that up. But that's the Turrd. All right, we're gonna get it, let it drip dry for a minute and get it back inside. All right, you just watch the side door running the building. It wouldn't hurt to turn it left. It wouldn't hurt to turn it this way, because it's straight to it. We're going to consider it to put back to it. It's considered it different. Okay. All right. Huh? Yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's about 3 days too far forward. Yeah, like it's got to be back far enough because these things barely open. It's a high-speed jack. We got a 4 jack. Go ahead and jack it up and scooch it over right. All right, we got her back inside and got her lifted up. Mike helped me get it lifted back up, which was amazing. Got it ready. We're going to get in here, try to fix that janky spot on the firewall, maybe clean it up, paint it a little bit, take all the old exhaust off, all the old wiring off, all the old hoses, the fuel lines, everything off we don't need. Go ahead and put new stuff on, get new fuel lines. But that's gonna just about do it for this episode, because it takes me long enough to learn how to edit all this. So I'm gonna spend a little time editing this, and then the next video we will start cleaning it up, painting it, and cleaning up this motor right here, getting this thing ready to go, get it cleaned up and get it put back in. Thank y'all. See y'all on the next one.